and I was conceived there. So I'm from Akron, Ohio, born and raised. I really didn't have a choice. And that's the way it is. But to be honest with you, I connect with Browns fans all over the world, crazy enough. They got Browns backer clubs and different things like that. North Carolina, where I'm at now. I mean, just all over the world. So, I mean, yeah, you know, nice little joke, ha-ha, hee-hee. But, yeah, we out here.
And then Grego says, Browns fan, this is a first. Wow. And, yeah, he's probably right. This is probably the first Browns fan I think I've ever had on here and met possibly on the whole Two Live Stews radio network. This might be the only Browns fan. So you are the first. I mean, you should you may get some type of prize in the mail. I don't know, maybe just something brown. I don't know, but Mogo Bella says so. He is a true Browns fan. Yes, he is. He said, "LA, these are only jokes." And he knows. He knows. He's friends with Raphael Haynes, so we all joke around.
Look, I'm a true Browns fan, so if I could not take a joke, then I wouldn't have been able to live to be, 32 right now. I mean, let's just be honest.
True.
Whenever I open up my mouth and somebody says, "Who are you a fan of?" and I say Browns, there's nobody in the world. I mean, come on now. I ran into a 70-year-old lady the other day that cracked on my team. So
Golly, 70.
Yeah, because in my job I deal with a lot of elderly people, and she happened to come in and she was wearing her Carolina Panthers gear and stuff, and I was like, "Oh," I said, "You're a football fan?" And she said, "Yeah." She was like, "Who's your team?" I said, "Browns," and she was like, and I was just like, what's that?
Wow. What was that for? What was that response? Come on.
Right, I was like, I thought we was gonna have, she looked at me like, she wanted to do something. So, I kind of, you'll say bust a move,
Right.
bust a move.
Oh man, so we're talking to LA Broadus, a part of the 3-point conversion station. He runs a social media. Go follow him. I promise you will be on top of the news like nobody's business. So I got to ask you this. What is your expectations for the Browns this season? I want you to be honest. I want you to be passionate. What is your true expectations for this team next season?
Not a damn thing. No, just playing.
Oh my God, I was not expecting to hear that. That was good.
No, you know what? At the end of the day, I'm realistic about my team. You can add as many people as you want to. I done seen so many different regimes come and go. I done seen so many different players come and go. Until they actually prove it on the field, I'm scoring. I've been hurt before. You know how when you approach a relationship and the girl is talking to you and she's like, "Hey, you just be honest. Hey, I've been hurt. Okay." So
right.
I'm not expecting anything really out of it. I don't expect for us to go winless again. I definitely do not. But the things that I'm looking for is I'm really looking for what Tyrod Taylor brings to the table, because this has been the first time in such a long time that we've actually had a quarterback come out on that field and start. I mean, we've had the likes of Brady Quinn. I mean, Kelly Holcomb. I mean, Charlie Fry. I could go through a whole entire quarterback list.
Yeah.
But this is the very first time that we've actually had a real quarterback step on that field. And then also adding him with weapons, because back in 2007 we had offensive weapons, and that's why you've seen Derek Anderson do well. And we had one of our best seasons in 2007. So now you're talking about an actual competent quarterback with these type of weapons. I'm definitely very excited to see it. But at the end of the day, I just feel like I'm a Browns fan. So, you can't really... I've heard on certain radio shows where they're like, "Oh, we're winning 8 games." Ron Jordanowski, I believe that's how you pronounce the last name. Jaws. He said that he expected us to win 8 games, and I was just like, "Yeah, okay, guy." But
I'm gonna be honest though. That's what I said. That's what I said last week. I think they can go 8-8. That's. I mean, at this point with the talent you have, you cannot go winless like that. We already know that's not gonna happen. I think they can win more than 5 because they're going to be playing some of the worst teams in the league. The defense has improved. So I think they can win at least 8. And here's the biggest question I want to ask you: the draft expectations. They got number 1 and number 4. Does adding Carlos Hyde mean you don't go after Saquon Barkley?
To be honest with you, that Saquon Barkley story ran for a while, and it grew wings. I don't know where it really came from. Well, I know where it came from. Saquon is a beast, hands down. I love the guy. But Browns have always been concentrated on taking a quarterback with that number 1 pick. They have not wavered from that. I have not gotten anything from my sources to say anything different. They have always wanted to go quarterback. Now, the question is which quarterback? And the 2 names that have been brought up was, of course, Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold. Now, hearing from my sources lately, it looks like they're kind of leaning towards Darnold, but it's not set in stone. But they've always been wanting to go quarterback with that number 1 pick. And then at the 4, they were going to try to scoop up whoever was there. So whether it is Saquon that falls down to 4, which is actually quite possible now, or if it's Minkah Fitzpatrick and Chubb, one of those guys, because I know that they really, really like Minkah because of the fact that he's very versatile, like how you said earlier. He's very versatile. So that's who's been in play at 1 and 4 for us so far.
Yeah. Now this would be my if I was the Browns GM, this is what I would do. I would draft Saquon Barkley. You could have him and Carlos Hyde. Run both of them in the ground. Do both of them. Then trade down and get Lamar Jackson. Now, Lamar Jackson's not ready to play immediately. He can sit behind Tyrod Taylor. To me, that if you want to completely flip the Browns team, that gives you 2 players for the next 4 years that will definitely contribute. Second round, and from there on, if you want to do defense, if you want to do corner, whatever. But to me, that would be pretty dope. Baker Mayfield is kind of Johnny Football-esque. Now, I don't know. He is a little bit. Will he come in and contribute immediately? A lot of people saying yes. I just don't know, and I do not want. I don't know if the team should be as confident. All these teams should be as confident in drafting him. But go ahead. I hear you chomping at the bit.
Well, with Baker, and I did a lot of listening and studying behind this guy, and I know that he gives you that Johnny Manziel cockiness kind of feel to him. But as a football player, his coaches, teammates, and everybody else around him have said completely different. Now, with Johnny, they said Johnny was lazy. He would come in half play, come in half practice whenever he felt like it. They said Baker is completely different. Like, they said he's a student of the game, first one in, last one out kind of guy. So when I hear that, and I hear that behind the scenes, that's the kind of guy that you want. I get his cockiness and his edge, but that's also something that you want from your quarterback. Like, you want him to have some swag to him. Right. So, like, I kind of feel like, I could see the comparison, and people were comparing it all the time. But if you look at Baker Mayfield's game compared to Johnny's, Johnny operated a lot outside the pocket. It wasn't in a traditional play. He was like scrambling, making plays with his feet and stuff. Baker has that ability, but if you actually watch him in college, he actually made plays from the pocket. Like, he stayed in the pocket. He followed his system, followed his reads. Completely different player.
Yeah. And I think with Baker, I think his play on the field is completely different than Johnny's. I agree with that. I think the thing that's going to catch him up is this is not college, okay? So you can't come on the field grabbing your nuts and don't think you're going to get hurt that game. You can't. Don't do that, because these are real men.
Could you imagine him doing that?
Right.
Could you imagine him doing that to the Ndamukong Suh?
Right.
Like him going up to the Ndamukong Suh and doing that?
They would have to push out a casket and put you in the box. If you did that to James Harrison looking at you on the other end of the sideline, and you like, yeah, look at these, bro. And you're like, what? Okay, you about to get hurt this game. So, to me, time will tell with Baker. I just don't know. I try to be, I'm going to be honest, I do not know what this guy's going to do. Either he's going to be the next great quarterback, or he's going to be, hey, you remember that guy Baker Mayfield that came out of Oklahoma? It's going to be one of those two things. And I think he's got that fact. I think he's got that it factor though. I think he can play. He's got the legs and everything. So
yeah. I mean that's the biggest thing about these quarterbacks is every quarterback in this draft has a knock on them, and so it's kind of like pick your poison. And to be honest with you, I mentioned that to somebody a couple of weeks ago with the fact of trading down and grabbing Lamar and having Saquon. I love that idea. I really do. Is it going to happen? I doubt it. Like I said, looking at John Dorsey's track record, and I said this earlier on Mr. Controversy show, the 3-point conversion sports line on. He has never drafted a running back in the first round. Never. He's always went for a quarterback, left tackle, some type of something around the line or defensive line. But in all his years that he's been in the league, he has never drafted a running back in the first round ever.
Well,
and I just don't see him changing that.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a first time for everything. Just like that's the name of today's show with number 1 getting upset. And at this point, this is a one of a kind back right here. There's people saying he's Le'Veon Bell mixed with Zeke, mixed with somebody else that they mentioned. But I think he's going to be a beast of a running back. Whatever team gets him, I applaud them. And we'll see what happens. But them actually trading down with 1st and 4, I agree with you. I don't see it happening. I think it would be great. I think that would change your organization for the next 4 years and probably for a long time. So we'll see what happens. But appreciate you for coming on. We got once again LA Broadus of the 3-point conversion station. Go follow him, LA_Broadus. I might have to get you on again because I wanted to ask you about the brackets, but I got another guest coming on in a minute. I'm sure yours is probably busted like everybody else's, but
I didn't do that bad. I'm still in the game. I picked Michigan State to win it all, but and I haven't looked at the scores lately because I was at work. But I'll have to check it. But I'm not doing too bad. But I definitely appreciate you bringing me on. And I'll be out there, man, tweeting and stuff like that, and providing that late breaking news. So right. Make sure you guys follow me. But I appreciate you again.
Yeah, appreciate you. Have a good rest of your Saturday.
Yes, sir.
Later. All right, that was LA Broadus. Appreciate him for coming on. Shout out to Chief Rocka in the chat room. Big F says, name the last good OU quarterback. Good quarterback. Bradford? Maybe. No, not Bradford. That doesn't count. And quite frankly, there isn't one really that I can think about. I think, like I said, I think Baker is going to be this great thing, or he's going to be, hey, you remember that guy, Baker Mayfield? I think that's one of two things that's going to happen with him. Chief says the king of the bracelets. So shout out to Chief Cabal, he jumps in here. So we're gonna have Tyler Esparza-Powell calling in here in just a moment. In about a minute, he's gonna be coming on. Haven't had this guy on the show in a while. It definitely has been a minute. But he's a former Cowboys fan, which we're gonna talk about that. He's a Rams fan, so they made some big additions. He's a Mavs and Rangers fan. So we'll be talking about that, talking about the brackets and everything's going down. But to give you guys an update on the scores, as of right now, Duke is beating Rhode Island 66-41. 67-44, excuse me. Villanova beats Alabama. You got Kentucky and Buffalo starting in about 45 minutes. Got some other nice games on tap for today and tomorrow. We're going to be deciding the Sweet 16. Tournament time is here. Tournament time is here. All right, so we'll get Tyler Esparza on the line here in just a moment. Let me make sure he's got the right number. I think he's calling on my personal phone. but I'll give him that number. But yeah, it is.